Hi everyone. Okay, so the advocacy project I was doing was a project based on conserving food in my local elementary school that I'm currently working at. I was put on lunch duty for kindergarten through first grade, the first lunch shift, and I quickly noticed all the food that was being wasted by the children, and it was almost unbearable to see. There was probably out of 100 kids, at least 70 of them were throwing away full hot lunches that they were buying. Their parents are paying money for this food. This food is being delivered through a company, and the children were not even taking a single bite of the whole tray of hot food, and they were throwing it right into the trash can. Even packaged food like craisins and raisins and bananas, they were just going straight into the trash. And milk cartons that were unopened that could easily be reused and given to someone else who may be in need of some food. So through this advocacy project, it's been really successful so far. It can still move itself further. Some next steps that I would be thinking about doing is keeping up with my administration and my research, because the best way to solve this issue is going to be going with a new lunch company, but we cannot do this until at least next year, as we're binded in a contract with the company we're currently working with. So I do need to keep up with administration and making sure that they're on board to make these changes next year. And then my research on possible companies that I could use next year. I want to talk to the school about a budget so that we can create a budget and I can start looking for a company that fits, because the more work that I can do for them, I'm sure the more willing they'll be to just sign off and approve and be like, great idea. The more work I put on them, the more of a burden it becomes, and it's not as easy to implement. So I also will be looking at creating a program for the leftover packaged foods for this year. Since we can't solve the whole issue, I was thinking we could come up with a program or a plan of saving the packaged foods that haven't been touched. So right now, the thing we have going on is we're having the lunch duty teachers collect all packaged foods, the packaged milk cartons that have been unopened, and we're actually collecting those and sending them to the teachers lounge, where teachers can pick them up for their classrooms, for extra snacks for their students who forget snacks, kids who forget lunches, etc. And then anything that's not being used is donated to families in need. So my last step that I would still that would be one of the next steps taken, is taking these ideas to schools around our area. So once we get the problem solved and everything working in our school, I want to branch out to the schools around us, starting in the communities, eventually getting into the different cities, and maybe even branching out to different states once it gets to be a longer, more successful project. So some unexpected outcomes or challenges that I faced in this project. I thought when I started, this will be a quick and easy solution. What a horrible problem. Many people must want to change it. How hard could it be to save food and to give it to people in need? It actually ended up being much harder than I expected, because there are laws you have to follow with the packaging and just giving people food that's been touched. And like being in the binding contract that we're in and not being able to implement the change right away like I had hoped. So another unexpected challenge and outcome was there's so many different turns and the need for recreating solutions. So with every single step that I was finding out, oh, we can't do that because of ABC. Oh, we can't do this because of ABC. I had to quickly think, okay, well, how can I rethink this? How can I reform this so that we can start implementing change? So just the different turns I didn't expect to be taking and having to quickly come up with new ideas within this short couple week period. And then lastly, I was shocked by the children's desire and pleasure to participate and wanting to help those in need. So basically what we did is we talked with teachers and we put it into the morning announcements and talked to the kids about why we want them to help us save food so that the kids weren't throwing it away and they were trying to eat it more. So we talked to them about those in need and did a whole lesson on it and had the children realize that, you know, there are people who are starving, and if they're not hungry and they don't want to eat their food, then the importance in making sure that we save it and they get it in those boxes to give to others in need. And then also just stressing the importance that they are eating their lunch. If they do buy these hot lunches, instead of saving it for those in need, having them eat it because they need the food and nutrition too, right? So that was another thing I was shocked by. Once we did that, they were really motivated and excited to participate in helping others. Something I would have done differently, the only thing I could really think that I should have done differently is the way that I conducted my surveys. I kind of did it for my own purposes and for the administration. So this was like all hand done. I did it myself during my lunch duty. I probably, if I did this again, or even in the future I'll probably do for further research, is a more formal way of doing surveys, like on the computer under Excel, and just a more appropriate way to take this to other places that are more business-like. So if I need to take this to anybody higher up, I can I have a nice document that shows everything and it's all sorted out versus just my verbal saying of what I found. Other than that, it's been turning out wonderfully and it's on a great track, and I don't think I would have done anything else differently. Reflecting on the impact this project has had on my present and my future, I've had many classes where we need to talk about advocacy and volunteer work and things like that. And prior to this project, I felt like I was doing the work and I was really putting my heart into it and I cared about the issues, but I never felt like I myself could make a difference in these huge issues. I've worked really closely with homelessness for many years, but I never felt like I was actually implementing any kind of change. I was just passionate about it and did all that I could, but I couldn't see change being made, and I felt that it was kind of pointless to get inside of these huge organizations and things because my tiny voice didn't make a difference. But in doing this project, it's really changed my perspective on that, because I've seen all the change that I've been making thus far, and it's only been a few weeks, and I plan to take it much further. So seeing finally that my little voice can make a difference, and I can see now, I can kind of see in my perspective that I've only started and it's only been a few weeks, and I can branch this out so much further. I can see myself taking this to cities and to states once it gets to be a bigger thing. So I'm really excited about that, and it's something I've been looking for quite a few years, and feeling that feeling has been really amazing, and definitely had a huge impact on my present, and it will on in my future once I get it going. So lastly, my participation in this project, it made me very passionate about the conservation of food. Obviously, I've always known about the issue of starvation and people in need, but this has made me, the research and being close with the issue and seeing how conserving food can really help others who are in need, it's made me more passionate about that issue. It's made me very understanding of the struggles administration has to deal with, seeing all the different steps they have to take to put one thing in place for the school, speaking about, you know, the food company, all the little things that they have to do just to put that into place. So I definitely understand where they're coming from. I do think that more attention needs to be put towards this issue. When I started, I thought I was the only one noticing this, but when I took the issue to other people, it seemed that they knew about the issue, but they didn't really care to implement change, or they were too lazy or busy with what they were doing that it wasn't top priority. So I think that needs to change, not only in my school, but around the world, because it's definitely an issue everywhere. And then I could really create positive change in this field, and I realized that I can expand these ideas beyond my borders, which is really important to me because that's the major outcome for me, is that I'm not just making a small change in my tiny community, but then I'm expanding my ideas and sharing them further with other people. And then finally, the most important thing that this project affected within me and my learning was that I'm more likely to do this again. So if this project is successful, I'll obviously carry this one out. But I'm more likely to get involved in these smaller issues where I can make a bigger difference. So whereas I said before, I was kind of intimidated and felt like I didn't make a difference, but now I'm definitely more likely to do it again. So I am very thankful for this experience, and it's been absolutely awesome, and I'm very excited to continue my research and to continue implementing change and seeing how it changes next year when we can start adding more things to the process. So it's been an amazing experience, and I'm happy to share with you guys, and I hope to be able to check back in a few weeks, months, years, and let you know how it continues to progress, because I do hope it becomes a big thing. So thank you so much for visiting my page and listening to a little bit about my advocacy project. It's been a great semester, and I wish all the rest of you the best of luck. Thanks.